Hey, this is another big sis tip of what I learned being in the workforce and what it means. Okay, if you're applying for a job and they say they want someone who is self motivated and a self starter, that means that they want someone who they can tell to do something and how to do it one time, and then you do it by yourself. They're not going to help you. They're not going to keep you on track. They want you to be able to do it by yourself because they can't be bothered. If you're trying to bring up an issue you have to your employer and they say, hey, can we talk about this some other time? I've got a lot going on. One, they can either have a lot going on, or two, which is more likely, it's a polite and professional way to say, I don't care about your problems. Go away now. If you have a situation that's going on and you're trying to file a complaint about it, go ahead, file that complaint. Go ahead, talk to HR about it, and go ahead, have that conversation with their boss about it. But also, send them an email. And if you want to, where I stay, it only takes one party to know about the recording and record your conversations. So you can have a trail of you actually trying to come forward with this issue. Because if you have a trail that you're actually trying to come forward with this issue, they can't break down your case against them if you are being underrepresented or treated terribly. Because if you would only talk to them, then that actually legally is enough to say that they're actually trying, but you have no evidence that you tried. Do not put all your faith in HR. HR is supposed to be there to help with the employees, but they mostly work for the company. So they're going to try to spin it some way to where they can make the company not liable for the issues that is going on in the workforce. Like I said, go ahead, talk to HR about it, file out your complaint, but also, do some research of your own. Make sure you have a trail. Another thing that people who are employers will do is if they've already hired you on in the probational period, which is like 60 to 90 days, and they don't think that you're a good fit for their company, they will try to slightly cut your hours gradually to where then you won't have really any where you can live off of, and then that you will quit by yourself. So then that way they won't be held responsible for you not having hours because you decided to cut your hours. You decided to quit. How you can counteract this doesn't work all the time, but how you can try to counteract this is you can send an email and even, have them write out a statement with you that you are willing to work, time and, date it and timestamp it. Have them sign it, you sign it. Send them an email telling them that your hours got cut and that you don't understand why your hours got cut and that you would like more hours and that you would like to proceed to get the hours that you had before and the hours that you were hired on for, and you would like to, proceed working for this company, that you're able to work, that there's nothing stopping you from working. The only thing that is stopping you from working is that they're not giving you the hours that they promised you. And then if they still do this, then there's a breach of you guys' agreement and you can sue them for that. And if you don't want to, you just want to get your unemployment, then you can show unemployment that you did try to work, but they refused your offer. If their labor is high and they're going to send somebody home early, okay, they can do that, right? Then that's within their willpower. But like I said, if you're getting no hours at all, like for a whole month, and you were told that you were going to be part-time, no hours at all for a month is not part-time. That's definitely a breach of the contract. Mm, what else? Oh, if they tell you that they want somebody who's a multitasker, that means they want you to do your job and three other people's jobs simultaneously, and they will not pay you for those other three people's jobs. If they tell you that they want you to be a team player and to be able to take directions, no matter if it relates to your job or not, that means that they want you not to be upset when they put extra work on your workload that has nothing to do with your job. They can fire you. They can fire you for insubordinates, which means that they can fire you not for you not being able to do what they tell you to. But it has to really be a specific type of thing, and it also has to be a pattern for them to be able to get that on you. And they can fire you for poor communication, but that does not mean that you have to be buddy buddy with everybody and talk to everybody. No, you don't. They can't do that. They can't control your conversations with the people you have, and if you want to interact with people, they can't do that. The communication really only covers if you're working out there with their communication. You know what I mean? Like talking to the boss or talking to the supervisors, talking to other co-workers about the job, then they were able to do that. But if you just don't want to kiki and giggle and laugh and make plans with other people, they can't force you to do that. So you can go to work, be there to work, and go home. They do try to thrive by telling you, hey, you should talk to the other employees more, and you should hang out with them more. And then they'll tell you that you're trying to have a hazardous work environment because you're trying to make them feel excluded, and that you're mentally abusing them and bullying them. That's not true. That's not true. Just because you don't want to talk to somebody does not mean you're bullying them or that you're mentally abusing them. They try that though. They really do. They try to tell you that, but that's not true. If you're about to leave the job and they try to hand you this paperwork that says that you have been paid in full, do not sign it. Do not sign it. And they try to tell you, oh, well, it's so you can get your paycheck. Do not sign that paper that says that you are paid in full, and that they tell you that you have to um, sign to get your paycheck. That's a lie. That's a lie. You will get that paycheck regardless if you sign that paper or not. They literally are only asking you to sign that paper because if they don't pay you, then they can wave it in the court's face and be like, but she said I did pay her. And then the court can't rule in your favor. Um, if you have a disability, like a mental one or a physical one, and you want assistance, they have to provide you with that assistance. They cannot deny you of that assistance. But if you have a disability and you don't want to tell them, then they can't force you to disclose your disability. Only in very dire situations, like, I don't know, you really, 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 really bad schizophrenia and you go on manic episodes and you get really violent, then I can force you to disclose the information. And then they can force you to get tested because it's more like I need my customers to be safe. I need my employees to be safe. But, if you're able to live your life, go to work, and do everything in between and be fine, then they can't force you to disclose that. But if you want assistance, you should disclose it to them. If you have a prior condition and like maybe you need a mental day, they can't force you to not take a mental day. That's wrong. If you need a mental day, you can take a mental day, even if you're not sick. Especially, like I said, if you already have a pre-known condition, like you have really bad depression or really bad anxiety, and you need a mental day, tell them before in advance. Don't do that shit like 30 minutes before. Tell them in advance, like maybe at least 6 hours before, that hey, I need a mental day, and I'm gonna take this as a mental day, and they should not retaliate against you. They should not retaliate against you at anything I said. Retaliation against you for filing a complaint is retaliation, and you can sue them for this. You should feel that you have the ability 100% to go to your supervisor and to HR and file a complaint, and they are legally obligated to follow through to this complaint. You're not going to lose your job. You're not going to lose your hours. And if you do, you can sue them for retaliation and wrongful termination. And if while you're going through the investigation process and you still want to work there, you can. You don't have to quit because you're going through an investigation. They should put you on a different schedule against the person that you have the complaint about. Like if you've been sexually harassed, you should not be working with that person who sexually harassed you. That is against the law. Like if you guys both work on Tuesdays, well, he better work on Wednesdays now. And you work on Tuesdays. It's also against the law to overwork the employees. So if you're like, I'm working 6 days a week and they want you to work 7, you don't got to. You don't got to. Like, no, I don't want to work that 7th day. I'm already working 6 days a week. This is too much for me. Say that. You don't have to. Do not think you have to. If you're working 6 days a week already and you're working like at least 8 hours, you do not have to work anymore hours. Do not think that you're obligated to work more hours because they're trying to schedule you for more hours. And if they're not giving you the equipment that you need to do your job right, they're obligated to give you the equipment that you need to do your job right. Like if they're not purchasing gloves, if they're not giving you cutting gloves, if they're not giving you whatever it is that you need to do your job right. Even, giving you a little space to put your stuff. They need to give you a space to put your stuff. This is in the rules. They cannot stop you from taking a bathroom break. If you complain about your bathroom breaks, that could be seen as, you trying to tarnish their reputation, and they can give you for that. But they cannot stop you from taking bathroom breaks. They can't do that. You got to go to the bathroom. You got to go to the bathroom. Now, a lot of companies now are, like saying that, you don't have to have a meal and you don't have to have breaks, which is true. They don't have to give you a meal and they don't have to give you a break. So, you can just eat before coming in. But like I said, If you gotta go to the bathroom, you gotta go to the bathroom. They cannot stop that. If you are getting told that you're out of uniform, but they haven't. Okay, so like saying uniforms. If you were not provided all of the things that you needed for your uniform, and they're trying to dress code you and send you home for having an incomplete uniform, that makes absolutely no sense. They cannot do that. You were not provided the stuff that you needed for your uniform, like an apron, a hat, shirt, shoes. Sometimes they will have you go buy your own shoes, and that's fine. Sometimes they will have you go buy your own pants, and that's fine. But things like, like hat, name tags, aprons, cutting gloves, stuff like that should be provided to you for you to be able to be in the right uniform, for you to be able to show up for work and be ready. You can be sent home and will be sent home for bad hygiene, like greasy hair, smelling terrible, not being clean, because that's bad for everybody. We don't want that in the food. People don't want to be around that, and you might, get somebody sick or something. Make sure you read the contract really closely that you're signing in a company with, because some companies will want you to have a clean social media presence because it reflects on their company. So if you signed this contract, you agreed to have a clean social media presence. And if you do something that is distasteful and that would hurt the company's reputation, they can and will fire you. And there's nothing you can do about that shit. The first check you usually will get after starting a new job is after 2 weeks or the next pay period, because most people start usually in the middle of the pay period, so the payroll has already been sent off and you have to wait for it to roll over for your hours to be added into the system and for you to be set into the system. I have 98% of the time have had a manager say to me for something I needed that it's on back order, and that shit to never show up. Literally, what it means when they say it's on back order, it's just a professional way of saying I'm not going to buy it, so deal with what you have. And it could be on back order because there is a budget that they have to stay underneath and buy all the necessities for the company. But in my experience, it's never came. It's never came. And things that aren't negotiable, like cutting gloves, and maybe if you work with like oil or hot stuff, gloves, they're supposed to help protect you against the heat and oil and stuff like that, that is not negotiable, that needs money to be spent on. Like stuff to cut tomatoes or knives or gloves, cleaning supplies. Like that stuff is not negotiable, and they should be spending money on this. Toilet paper, soap, that's not negotiable. But I've actually had places try to be like, it's on back order, and then I'm like, cleaning supplies should not be on back order. That makes absolutely no sense. How are you gonna run an establishment with no cleaning supplies? You can't. It's against the law. So you're just not gonna clean? Nah. That's not how it works. Or not giving you burn resistant gloves. And then trying to buy those fake ass gloves from Walmart. That is for the home. That is not industrial. Those gloves are supposed to come up to the mid of your bicep. And they're supposed to be food grade and industrial grade. And then try and give you little mitts from the store. Nah. You trying to cut corners. It don't work that way. You better call their boss and be like, hey, I'm not getting the things that I need to do my job properly. Or you keep getting left by yourself to do everything. When you know it's a 3-person job, nah. You need to talk to them. You need to be like, hey, this workload is too much for me. It doesn't mean you need to be like an absolute bitch or anything about it, but you're like, this workload is too heavy for me. This is a 3-person job. I need more help. You have every right to advocate for yourself in that way. This doesn't make you difficult, and it doesn't make you a bad person. Do not overwork yourself for these people. Absolutely not. And they should not retaliate against you for that. Absolutely not.